Hello friends, in this video tutorial, we will learn how to make custom registration form under this Laravel 9 framework. In previous part, we have make file for display dynamic login registration link and logout link. Now for create registration form, so we have goes to sample controller and under this registration method. And here, we have to write return statement with view method. And under this method, we have to write registration, so it will load registration form in the browser. Now we have to open registrationblade.php file, and under this file, we have to write @extends directive with name main. And after this, we have to write @section directive with name content. Now first we want to close this section by write @end section directive with name content. And between this, we can define HTML code for this registration blade file. Under this file, first we have to paste this HTML code. Now we want to create registration form, so here we have to write form tag. And under this, we have to write action attribute is equal to Laravel expression. And between this, we have to write root method, and under this, we have to write sample.validate registration, so it will send registration form data to this validate registration method. After this, we have to write method attribute is equal to post. Under this form, first we have to write @csrf directive. This directive can protect from cross-site forgery attacks. Under this form, we have to create input field for get username details. So here, we have to write input type is equal to text, and name attribute is equal to name. Below this, we want to display validation error of this name input field data. So here, we have to write @if directive, and under condition, we have to write $errors variable with has method with name input field name. So this condition will check if here any name input field validation error, then it will execute if block of code. And for display validation error, here we have create span tag with class is equal to text danger. And between this, we have to write Laravel expression, and between this, we have to write $errors variable with first method with name argument, so it will display this field validation error. After this, we have to create input field for get user email address details. So here we have to write input type is equal to text, and name is equal to email address. And below this, we want to display validation error for this email address field. So here, we have to write @if directive, and under condition, we have to write $errors variable with has method, and under this method, we have to write email address. If there is any, this input field validation error has been occurred, then it will execute if block of code. And between this, we have to write span tag with class is equal to text danger. And between this, we have to write Laravel expression, and between this, we have to write $errors variable with first method, and under this method, we have to write email address, so it will display validation error for this email address field. After this, we want to create input field for get password details. So here, we have to write input type is equal to password, and name is equal to password. Now for display validation error for this password field, so here we have to write @if directive. And under condition, we have to write $errors variable with has method with field name password. If there is any this password field validation error has been created, then it will execute this block of code. Under this block, for display validation error, here we have create one span tag with class is equal to text danger. And between this, we have to write Laravel expression, and between this, we have to write $errors variable with first method, and under this method, we have to write input field name password. So it will display validation error of input password field. Now for submit registration form data. So here, we have to write button tag with type is equal to submit, and after this, we have to write class is equal to button dark, and between this button tag, we have to write register. So by click on this button, registration form data has been submitted to server. Now we have goes to sample controller file, and here, we have to create validate registration method with $request variable as argument. Under this method, first we want to validate registration form data. So here, we have to write $request variable with validate method. And under this method, we have to define validation rules in array format. So in first array key, we have to write input field name details, like name. And in value, we have to write validation rules like required. In second key, we have to write input field name email, and in value, we have to write validation rules like required email and unique users table. So this validation rules will check condition like this field value is required. And this field value must be valid email, and email must be unique in users table. In third key, we have to write input field name password, and in value, we have to write validation rules like required and minimum 6 character, so this validation rules will check. For submit form data, this field value must be required, and that value must be more than 6 character. So here, it will check this validation rules, and if there is any validation error occur, then it will not insert user data into database and display validation error on the web page. But there is not any validation error occur, then it will proceed for user registration. So for this, here we have to write $data variable is equal to $request variable with all method. So here we have store form data under this $data variable. Now for insert data into user table, here we have to write user models class with create method. And under this method, we have to define data in an array format. So in key, we have to write name, and in value, we have to write $data name variable. In second key, we have to write email, and in value, we have to write $data email variable. And in third key, we have to write password, and in value, we have to store password in hash format. So for this, here we have to write hash class with make method, and under this method, we have to write $data password variable, so it will convert simple string password to hash formatted password. And it will insert registration form data under user table. Now we want to redirect web page to login page with success message. So for this, here we have to write return statement with redirect method. And under this method, we have to write login, so it will redirect to this login method. Now for display success message, here we have to write with method with 2 parameter. In first parameter, we have to write success, and in second argument, we have to write message like registration completed, now you log in, so this message will be display on login page. Now for display success message in login page after completing registration, so we have goes into login blade file. And here, we have to write @if directive, and under condition, we have to write $message variable is equal to session class with get method with success as parameter, so this condition will check if there any success message has been stored under session flash message. Then under this block, we have to create one division tag with class is equal to alert info. And between this tag, we have to write Laravel expression, and between this, we have to write $message variable, so it will display message on the web page. After this, we want to set root for validate registration method, so we have goes to web.php file. And here, we have to write root class with post method with 2 parameter. So in first parameter, we have to write validate registration, and in second parameter, we have to write validate registration. After this, we have to write name method. And under this method, we have to write sample.validate registration, so it will set root for validate registration method. So here our Laravel 9 custom registration code is ready. Now we have check output in the browser. Now for goes to registration form, we have to click on registration link. So after click on the registration link, so here we can see that registration form has been loaded in the browser. Now first we want to check form validation is working or not, so for this, we have directly click on the register button. After click on the submit button, here we can see that it has display validation error on the web page. Below this each field, that means here validation working properly. Now we have to one by one fill all registration form details. Once we have fill all registration form details, now we have click on the registration button. And after click on the submit button, here it has redirect us to login page. And here, it has display success on the web page, so in this part, we have learned how can we make custom registration in Laravel 9 framework. And in next part, we will learn how to make custom login in Laravel 9 framework.